All of that stems from libs of TikTok publishing that information and going, something needs to be done. Won't somebody do something about this? They're destroying the nation. And again, what do you expect to happen when you call people to events like that, the way that that's done? Alrighty, so who here is familiar with libs of TikTok? They run a series of social medias where the entire thing is cringy leftists. They show them on their channel. They've gotten so big, however, and they've gained such a toxic audience that they've ended up basically showing people's real locations at certain point, because that's the nature of showing things live on video. And then they've led, like, this has led to actual harassment campaigns happening to individual people. They've gotten a lot of flack for this, but there was a little bit of the thing that happened recently that I think most of you will find interesting. Before we get into that, though, let's go ahead and get into the fan art section. We have two from Jet here, Slime Rancher and Ranma 1/2 Suris. So we have what looks to be almost like shampoo from Ranma 1/2, but as a cat Suris. And then we've got a Slime Rancher inspired Slime Suris just sitting there right on the hammer. Next one we have is from Feather Boa Uber Mangaka. Said I should be getting sleep, but I ended up working on this instead. Should be getting sleep, but you ended up working on a Neko Suris Hero Forge. How dare you? As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it onto the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, though, let's go ahead and take a look at what has happened here. So remember I said that libs of TikTok, they've created an environment where a lot of their viewers are willing to go out and harass people. They also don't know where the line is when it comes to how to comport themselves around people they don't agree with. So the account owner for libs of TikTok has apparently said that they are going, they said going into hiding specifically was what I found, which is really, really interesting to me. Why would you have to go into hiding? Well, let's take a look here. So the actual post, the initial thing that was said, is right here. It's an update. After the events of the past 2 days, I've decided to move to a safer location until things calm down. Thank you for your kind words. Well, why do you need to move to a safer location? What happened recently that led to that? Well, they've created an environment of people who are willing to be assholes and are willing to stalk and are willing to harass. But also, Glenn Greenwald retweeted this, which I found kind of interesting. This is what it's like to be a woman on the internet who got doxxed by a newspaper owned by the world's richest man. Actual death threats and encouragement of suicide. So, did the Washington Post actually dox libs of TikTok? That's interesting. Let's see here. Let's take a look at that. Did a Washington Post journalist unfairly dox the woman behind the libs of TikTok Twitter account? Or did they merely do their job by exposing influential and potentially harmful political actors? On Tuesday, Washington Post's technology reporter Taylor Lorenz stirred controversy by publishing an article in which she revealed the name of the woman behind libs of TikTok. The name, just the name. A popular conservative Twitter account that has been amplified by prominent figures such as Fox News, Tucker Carlson, podcaster Joe Rogan, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' press secretary. Some, especially on the right, argued that the Washington Post's expose was unfair and constituted doxing, which is the act of publicly revealing private personal information about a person or organization online. Conservative activist and human events senior editor Jack Pozebiak, I can't pronounce that, accused the outlet of doxing and smearing the account holder. Okay. This is doxing and smearing libs of TikTok by the billionaire-controlled Bezos Post. It said, "Hi, Christina. I'm a tech reporter at the Washington Post. We are running a story expose on the woman behind libs of TikTok account. Our story mentions your many interactions with the account and praise for it. If you'd like to offer comment, please let me know within the next hour." Wait, hold on. Is that it? Is that doxing? Is that doxing? I don't see it. Okay. Sure thing. That isn't anything at all. How is that not journalism? How is that doxing? Meanwhile, Lorenz and others defended the article, arguing that an influential account that purposely directs harassment at LGBTQ people is worthy of exposition. And I would agree. Here's my position. If you make your living, if you make it a giant part of your job to expose people on the internet, it should be perfectly fine for people to dig up stuff on you as well. After all, you shouldn't have anything to hide, right? Like, I'm not saying that you should take this person's address. I'm not saying that you should put that down as information, but literally just running a newspaper article on an individual and calling them by their name, you're a public figure at this point. That's the least of what people would know. People know Tucker Carlson by name. People know Ben Shapiro by name. People know Matt Walsh by name. What's the actual issue here? It says on here, here's a piece of good old-fashioned shoe leather reporting that examines the role of an increasingly powerful figure in conservative media, revealing the human behind an anonymous account that directs waves of hate and harassment at ordinary LGBTQ folks. Again, if you're okay directing waves of hate at people, if you're okay with doing that, because that's what happens when you do what Libs of TikTok does with their account, then you should be, at the very least, understanding if people decide to do similar things towards you. After all, it's what you're doing. People have done video responses on me, and I expect that because I do video responses on other people. But let's keep on going. Are the rights accusations of doxing accurate, or was Lorenz justified in publishing the article? It then goes on to say, what is Libs of TikTok? It's a Twitter account with more than 658,000 followers, though it gained more after the Washington Post expose. In the months leading up to the publication, the account has increasingly focused on LGBTQ people and sex education in schools. The posts often include commentary like, any teacher who utters the words, "I came out to my students," should be fired on the spot. And we have a serious groomer teacher problem in this country. These are actionable phrases, at least the first one is. The second one merely alludes that all teachers who happen to let people know that they're anything but straight and heterosexual, they should be fired on the spot for being honest about that in any way, shape, or form. Now, reactions. Definitions of doxings vary, but they generally include publishing private or identifying information about someone who wishes to remain anonymous on the internet. To this extent, yes, the Washington Post published the names of the account creator, and she had previously taken steps to conceal her identity. Some argue that doxing is only when information that wasn't previously public is made public to target someone. Others would say doxing can include the amplification of someone's personal information by an influential or major source, regardless of whether it is already publicly available. The Washington Post obtained their identifying information because it was publicly available on the registration information for libsoftiktok.us, a domain reserved by the creator in October of 2021. The identifying information is still publicly available and was found by a member of the All Sides team in less than 2 minutes. The Washington Post released a statement saying that the reporting methods comport entirely with their ethical standards, and that we did not publish or link any details about their personal life. Libs of TikTok called this lies and claims the initial report included a link to her real estate license that contained her personal address. This link, which led to the woman's license page on license.io, was removed a few hours after publication, but is accessible through the Internet Archive. Okay, so there is at least that. Argument on the right is that it was doxing, of course. And then argument on the left, the influential actor should be exposed. The underlying issue is LGBT topics in schools, but you kind of get all that at this point. So we're not exactly picking out street names and deciphering floor plans here. No, we're not. We're using public information. That's basically it. That's basically it. So now we have to talk about what happened, because, well, something did happen here, and I think it's rather telling. Now, let's go back to Glenn Greenwald's post. This is what it looks like to be a woman on the internet who got doxxed by a newspaper owned by the world's richest man. Actual death threats and encouragement of suicide. Since liberal outlets only care about what happens to rich, famous national journalists, they'll ignore this. Interesting. I wasn't aware that most journalists were actually rich. Fairly certain journalistic salary isn't that great in the United States, isn't it? But okay. But yeah, linking to their actual like real estate license, sure, there's an issue there. That one I can say is closer to doxing. I'm glad that it was removed, but just the real name? Come on. Come on, my real name is public information. Dear fucking God. And if you're going to run account that constantly does the exact thing, constantly ends up doxing other people by filming them and throwing that shit on the internet for everybody to see, creating actual harassment campaigns towards those people, this is the least of what you could expect. The actual thing here was from an account called A Ridiculous Amount of Irony. Sent you a pipe bomb for literally supporting Nazi bigots, babe. Please kill yourself at your earliest convenience. Emoji, emoji, emoji. Emoji, 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 emoji. So, now that looks like a credible death threat. That looks like something that would cause me to be a little alarmed. Oh, but don't worry. It was a joke. I was just satirizing similar messages that account had received. Libs of TikTok has been getting similar messages, so I thought I would satirize it. I was under the impression that since I perceived that account to be a lot more understanding of a joke, since that's what they posted, they would understand the intent behind the satirized message. How do you get to that point? This is, to put it lightly, the expected end result. This is the expected end result of cultivating an audience that is okay with this type of behavior. You encourage it, and then when the audience does it to you, suddenly, oh no! Everything's horrible! It's all bad! I thought that mask was some hellish loose skin. Nah, this isn't okay. He has gay stuff all around his classroom. Just seems off the whole thing. This proves to me that you liked Twitter's left-wing bias and censorship and what that maintained. You want the fucking police called over a troll? You're delusional. My guy... Your troll was telling somebody that you sent a pipe bomb to their house. This isn't satire at this point. This is Poe's law. For those who don't know, Poe's law states that any position given that it's enough of an extreme position is completely, like, you cannot tell the difference anymore between that and parody. You know the meme where the bike rider sticks the spoke in their front wheel? Yeah, no, this is an everybody sucks thing. Glenn Greenwald sucks. This person sucks. Libs of TikTok sucks. Yeah, whether or not a death threat is genuine doesn't really matter. All that matters is you sent a death threat. Once you've sent a death threat, that's as far as it goes. We're done. We're completely done. That's it. But again, this is what happens. This is what you can expect when you cultivate an audience like Libs of TikTok does. Now, what did Libs of TikTok do that could have been considered so horrible that this is the type of shit that you would expect? That they would receive these kinds of calls, these kinds of messages, and it'd be normal. Put it simply, instead of the death threat of but like a goof, it's normal. Yeah, no, it was all just a big goof. It was all just a big goof. So what actually happened? Let's talk about that. Now we're not talking about the hypotheticals of what kind of things you expect a person in the position of Libs of TikTok to do. Let's talk about what actually happened to lead to this. The San Lorenzo drag queen event that the Proud Boys stormed. The information that was received for them to storm that event was from Libs of TikTok. The self-described Christian fascists who stormed the Houston drag queen event. The Pride Parade that a bunch of Proud Boys and shit came in riot gear and in a number with long rifles. All of that stemmed from Libs of TikTok. All of that stems from Libs of TikTok publishing that information and going, something needs to be done. Won't somebody do something about this? They're destroying the nation. That kinds of shit. And again, what do you expect? What do you expect to happen when you call people to events like that? The way that's done. What do you expect? Because for my part, if I were constantly going, somebody needs to do something about this content creator here. Somebody needs to do something about these people. Generalized statement. Statistically, it is likely that somebody will actually engage in action from those words. They will be incited into some type of intervention, potentially violent. When you have 650,000 followers, you need to be careful what you have to say. Yeah, no, pet the whatever, you're right. Literally, you need to be careful. You can't just be like, well, I can say whatever I want. No, you don't get to hide behind freedom of speech when your words have consequences. But, so there actually is stochastic terrorism focal point. Functionally, yes. Functionally, yes. That's what you end up happening. That's what ends up happening. So you're still not sure the other account is operated by anyone other than themselves? Who knows? But as of 20 minutes ago, Libs of TikTok is still posting everything they normally do. I would imagine that they get a fuck ton of money doing this at this point. They have 1.3 million followers now on Twitter. Given that they have a YouTube channel and multiple other social medias, they get a fuck ton of money at this point. But, again, I hold no sympathy. I do not think anybody should be getting death threats, but I don't hold sympathy when you incite this type of shit all the time. I can't. And I'm sure there's somebody in my comments going to be like, what if we did death threats to you? Thought I already made myself fucking clear. There's a difference between I approve of a thing and this type of thing is expected. It's expected when you go into an unsafe location that terrible things might happen to you, but I don't approve of those terrible things happening. It takes at least 4 brain cells, 1 more than I generally have. Anywho, that was a thing that happened recently I figured we needed to talk about for a little bit. But, with that said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, because I'm sure there's going to be a variance of opinions on this. And I want to know y'all's take. Your stance could have been summarized as, what did you think was going to happen, dumbass? Jeebus. Anywho, if you want to support me and my channel, there's always Patreon. There's always subscribing, liking, all that other fun stuff you do on social media. But with that said, though, everybody, as always, insert end of video tagline here.